11 o'clock, and let's push this button so I can get the video going. This is a live broadcast. Vanessa Lane Jennings is here. I say that because you never know during the holidays if somebody's coming in or not. I bet, if I was going to be betting, I would have said Vanessa will be here today. And so if you have a legal question, I mentioned this earlier today, the phone number is your way to get some free legal advice right now. That's almost unheard of in Vanessa's profession. That's what they study for, is to give out information. And so that's their business. And in the course of these 20 minutes, you have a very short period of time for your question to be answered. So the number is 622-9622, and I promise you I will shut up and let Vanessa listen and then answer your question. How come I don't hear you, though? Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning.
There you are. I had Robin's mic up. I'm missing Robin this week, by the way.
I know, it's so sad.
It's hard. I mean, she's such an important part of the show.
She is.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Did you stay in Ocala for the holidays?
I did.
And how was it? Did you have a good time?
It was very calm and peaceful. So yes.
Which is what you want, right?
Absolutely.
And what are your New Year's plans?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing? Do you watch the ball drop or anything?
It depends. Normally I would go out to dinner with friends, but I try to be in as early as possible.
All right, let me go to the phone because I promised phone calls. Good morning. Thank you for calling. First of all, you're on the air with Vanessa.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
There's a bizarre case being prosecuted in California in which a man was weaving down the road and was pulled over. He submitted to a breathalyzer test. He submitted to a blood test. No substances were found in his system, and yet he is being prosecuted for DUI. What Alice in Wonderland situation does the DA believe they have when what they have is a case of unsafe lane changing or something of that nature?
Yeah, sounds like it.
I'll hang up.
Sounds like he needs an attorney.
Well, man, it depends. There's a case that was here in Southwest Florida where there was a gentleman who was actually in a diabetic coma, and he went into a diabetic coma, so therefore he was weaving, and he actually led the police on a high-speed chase. He didn't realize it because he didn't crash. He was able to kind of sort of stay in the lane, but he was not cognitive at all. Like he wasn't aware of it. He didn't know. This had never happened before, so there was no history of it. So they started that off as also a DUI, but of course he, on his breathalyzer and his blood work, it all came back with zeros because there was no alcohol in his system. They did blood panels to see what kind of drugs there were, and there was nothing, and it ended up going from a DUI to a careless reckless driving, because their argument was, and they still kept the case going, at least in that particular one, was that he knew that he had something wrong, and he didn't check his blood levels, or he didn't do anything else before he got in the car. But it did start it as a DUI, and then it did go to a careless reckless driving.
Goodness. So if there's a medical condition that causes you to have a crash, can you still be charged with reckless driving?
Yeah, well, the careless driving, yep.
In that case, they can.
Yes.
Right, anyway, right? Oh, wow. There was a story this morning of a DUI that was dropped. I can't remember where it was, but the DUI was a guy in an electric wheelchair riding in the bicycle lane. Did you see this story?
I did not. I am now going to go find the story. This is amazing.
I will find it maybe during the break. But
not amazing for him, but I love stories.
Well, they dropped the case, though. They dropped the charges, I guess. The same thing, right? Dropping the case and drop. So. Do you know what I was watching? I was watching,
what are you watching?
Judge Judy.
Good television?
Yeah. All right. Now, Judge Judy was talking to this lady who was the mother. Let's see. Oh, gosh, I'm trying to remember. But anyway, Judge Judy called her a moron. And I, of course, that makes you want to watch it because the headline on the thing says Judge Judy. And I don't even know if it's still on the air, so it could have been old, whatever. But is there any etiquette or protocol for judges, or is everything go?
No. Don't you see how the judges get in trouble all the time in South Florida?
So
it's a lot in South Florida, and I don't know if it's just.
Well, you practiced there for a long time.
I did, so maybe I just pay more attention to things that happen in the Miami-Dade County area and Broward County. But yeah, they get in trouble for calling
So she could have
Calling
gotten in
them
trouble, but
names
she's
and
a
all that.
TV show, so it's different.
It's a TV show, so it's different. So it's probably good television. There's some exception, I'm sure,
Oh,
for
okay.
her. And I also don't know what she's in California, I do believe, and I don't know what
think so,
California
yeah.
rules are. Even though I think she does live in Florida.
Do you know,
heard that rumor.
I knew a lady who had, here in Ocala, who had one of those TV shows, I want to say The People's Court, or it might have been Judge Judy, I don't remember. But she had she had a phone call from the show asking her if she wanted to take her case to the show rather than to the actual courthouse here in Ocala. And in order for it to happen, the person who she was suing had to also agree. And
Right.
that lady decided she did not want to take this to TV and wanted to take it to court. So it takes both of them, I guess, to agree before you make it a TV show.
Yeah.
And the way she was describing it, though, is that any settlement is paid for by the TV show.
Really, that I didn't know.
Yeah. So the lady she was, okay, I heard it from her. So when you hear that side of the story, that's always the good one, right? Right? So
Correct.
the other lady was the bad lady, and this was the good lady. If I had heard the other argument, it might have been turned around, right? So if she won, then the other lady would have owed her money, and the TV show would have paid it, I guess, huh?
I'm all for it. I would have said yes. Let's
I
do
would have
it.
said yes, too.
Why not?
Just to do
I
it.
have 15 seconds of fame.
We do have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Good morning, Vanessa.
Hey, Joe.
Morning.
Got a quick question for you, Vanessa. There's a national organization I want to join, and they require a full background check before joining it. Their fee to join through their group is really expensive compared to what an accurate investigation here is. Are those, when you do the background investigation like that, even if you do it on yourself, is there a reciprocity between different groups that do that same background check? I just don't see giving them an extra $100 when I can get the same check done here. Now, I haven't approached them if that's permissible or not, but I'll hang up and get your answer, and Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. I actually worked with somebody who owned, one of my clients owns a background screening company. So I know a little bit about it. It depends on what kind of background check they're doing. Every time they do a background check, they're looking at different areas. So, and when I mean areas, I mean geographical areas. So it depends on how invasive it is to how expensive they are. I would say $100 is steep because some of them can be done on the person who's running it, not the consumer side, but the business side. They could be run for right around $25 to $30 doing a very invasive one. So it just depends on how invasive they're doing as to the cost. Are they all the same? Do they have a local database? Yes, there is a couple different groups out there that have all the information. That's what they do, is they collect it. One of them is actually a legal research tool that a lot of lawyers use called LexisNexis.
Okay.
And that's where we go to get case law, not even stuff on human beings. I mean, we go there for case law, but they also collect all the public records and they keep it all there. So that when you could even buy through their services to do background checks when you're a lawyer, or go to find people, and that's how, when you have personal injury attorneys, they're able to find people at times because they use LexisNexis and just like a research tool. So yes, there are organizations out there that collect all the data, and all the background companies go through them to some degree to get all that information. They also, all the background scanning or companies also go and scan public websites that you don't need those type of organizations for.
So you're just looking for the person's name somewhere.
Correct. Well, it's their name and their date of birth. And you could even put in a social security number to really narrow it down, because with name and date of birth, you can get a lot of hits.
When you hear that somebody had their record expunged, okay, I'm going to say something and you correct it because it's probably wrong.
Okay.
What I had heard was that if you've got the money, you can get any charge expunged. So that might be wrong, but someone
That is 100% inaccurate.
That's wrong. Okay. All right. So, but you can get some things expunged.
Correct. There's sealing and expunging in the state of Florida, and you get one bite at the apple. So you get one chance to do one or the other.
Oh, really? What's the difference?
An expunge is going to be something that is either what's called a null pros, which is either because the state dropped the charges or you took a state diversion program, like pretrial intervention, and you completed it successfully. So at that point in time, it shows as a drop charge as well. But it says normally dropped because of diversion program, as to where the state just dropped charges because they weren't able to go forward for whatever reason. Those you can go ahead and have expunged off your record. If you have a withhold, you get it sealed. So it still exists, you still have the punishment, but only a government agency, when they run your NCICs or FCICs, your
Right.
National Federal Priors, will they be able to actually go and look and see that you have sealed something. If you go to Bed Bath & Beyond to get a job, Bed Bath & Beyond theoretically should not be able to see a sealed case.
What about Taco Bell? Could they find it?
Taco Bell also is not a government agency, so they would not be able to find it. But if you wanted to go work for the post office, they would be able to.
Oh, okay. I see the difference. Okay. Let me take a break. We'll be right back. Good show so far.
Yes,
We're not doing bad, huh?
we're not doing bad without Robin.
Without
That is
Robin,
sad.
it's kind of difficult. All right, we'll take a little break. The phone calls make this show. We would love to hear some more questions from you all. You have some amazing questions, so call and ask Vanessa, 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Friday, it'll be windy, cooler, and less humid with clouds giving way to some sunshine. The high 58 to 62. And Friday night will be clear to partly cloudy and chilly. Lows in the mid to upper 30s inland, 44 along the coast. More sun than clouds for Saturday and becoming warmer. High 69 to 73. For Sunday, New Year's Day, partly sunny. High 77 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So, you used to be wired, now you're just tired. You used to be thin, but now you're the heaviest you've ever been. You don't necessarily always have to take a med if your thyroid is playing dead. If you have a thyroid disorder, an acupuncture visit may be in order. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566.
If you or a loved one is suffering with knee, shoulder, neck or back pain, plantar fasciitis, peripheral neuropathy, and even tennis elbow, and would like to learn about how there are treatments that may benefit you, go to drjuanyordan.com, then listen in on the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. and hear from health professionals doing these treatments and patients who have benefited from them. First and third Thursdays, 10 a.m. Next Generation MD, right here on The Source.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs. And all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online. When you go into Automax, Marion County's #1 pre-owned dealer for over 15 years, you won't take the new car depreciation because Automax saves you thousands on late model vehicles. Browse the inventory online at automaxocala.com. Then come down to see the great vehicles and upfront pricing in person. Compare up to 60 models inside the climate control showroom. So take your time. No high pressure, no gimmicks, no games. On the corner of 17th and Easy Street. Automax. Quality cars, outlet prices.
Hey, Robin, did you know the Pac Mail store has moved?
After 22 years of business in Churchill Square, they moved?
Yes, the new store is 1 mile west of their old location on 17th Street, right across from Penn Flooring.
Do they still have the same smiling faces and great customer service?
They pack it, ship it, crate it, and freight it using FedEx, USPS, DHL, or UPS. A great way to start the new year.
You shop, we ship. Pac Mail, 1202 Southwest 17th Street, Suite 201. Call 352-368-9779.
All right, 11 minutes before 11 o'clock. I'm not going to share what I'm laughing at. No way. But Vanessa Lane Jennings is in the studio. Your calls are an important part of this. And all right, I wasn't laughing at this, but during the break, you mentioned something about law violations that include drug charges and how addiction works with our psyche, I guess, against us. And drug addictions usually require professional help. As much as we want to think we can do it, we usually need somebody outside of us, a therapist or something, right?
Absolutely. There's I mean, having done this both as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, drugs are definitely, when you have an addiction, you have to actually treat the addiction. There's actually a mental health component that needs to be taken into effect.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just going to go back into the system. So, as a defense attorney, I always look to see if treatment can be part of the program, whether it's probation or if they're in Department of Corrections. There's actually there are few, but there's actually Department of Correction facilities that aren't prison themselves. They're actually rehab programs. They don't have a lot of beds. Some of them have as few as 10 beds available. So you have to really work hard to get to those programs. But I always advocate for them because that's where you're actually going to see the recidivism decrease. So the likelihood of them going back out and creating new law violations is much, much lower if they do a full treatment program.
Okay, if the violation is possession of the drug itself, as opposed to holding up a store because you need money to buy the drug, it's two different things. Is it easier for you as an attorney to defend them? Does my question make sense?
It's easier to get someone help if they're actually a drug crime. Because let's say it's someone who, because I've had cases where it's someone who is charged with larceny, stealing something because they were going to then turn around and take that item, pawn it, sell it, do whatever they want to do to get money to go do it. But they got caught before they got to the drug aspect. And because there wasn't a drug charge, sometimes the state attorney's office, and it doesn't matter really which county you're in, has a hard time saying, okay, well, let's put them into a drug program. And even the programs themselves have a hard time because they're like, well, it's not actually a drug offense. Yes, the root cause of it is the addiction, but the offense wasn't an actual qualifying offense.
So if somebody has if somebody's going through Alzheimer's, one of the stages of Alzheimer's is anger. There's the anger stage. So even somebody who's as mellow as me, sorry, so I have to laugh at that because I know me. But anyway, so somebody who's really mellow all the time, going through Alzheimer's will have this anger stage.
Correct.
And they will pull things off. I've seen this. Pull things off the wall, punch people. How do you handle that? Because they're like in the drug case, for example, they can be rehabilitated and eventually get hopefully back to normal. But somebody going through Alzheimer's, they're not. They're gonna eventually pass away. So how do you deal with how does the law deal with that? If you were punched by somebody with Alzheimer's, I mean, do they arrest them or put them into
They could. I mean, the police can. I don't say they could do whatever they want, but a crime theoretically occurred, and I say theoretically because there's to battery, there's an intent element. Did they intend to do what they did? And part of the intent is you have to know with substantial certainty what the outcome would be, and not necessarily what the outcome would be, that you're going to cause some type of impact on the person. So there's no way that somebody going through that is even. It depends what their level is and whether or not you would be able to get doctors in, to testify that this particular patient would never have known with substantial certainty that when they pushed the person that they were actually causing bodily contact. So,
do you know, we used to, Dr. Fakori used to do a show here, and he used to tell us that it wasn't unusual for him to be in the courtroom as an expert witness on certain things. Do you have to call expert witnesses a lot?
Right. He did expert witness because he does a lot of personal injury cases.
Right.
So when it comes to what their injuries are, because they have to go through and, explain what all those injuries are.
Right.
So we do use expert witnesses, but I use them mostly in family law, and they're normally child psychologists. This is normally the expert.
Oh, really?
But we also get experts on for valuations of land. We're looking for one for valuation of cattle and heifers right now.
Right.
For a case. Yeah. So anyway, you use experts for, random things that your witness can't testify to, because if they don't have personal knowledge of what the land value is in Marion County for a piece of farmland, I mean, they can tell you that they read it online, but that's not they don't have the personal knowledge. They got that from somewhere, so it's hearsay. So to get around that, you get someone who's an expert witness who can say, yes, I've seen this piece of land. I know what land goes for in this area. I have personal knowledge of it. This is what it is.
in the sentencing phase of a trial, somebody's been found guilty, and now it's time to sentence. Does the judge always have the right to overrule the jury?
Well, they're still guilty.
But
So
I mean, as
they're
far
not-
as what
they're-
the sentence is.
Well, the judge decides the sentence. The jury does not.
Oh, they
decide
don't.
the
Okay, I
sentence.
thought for some reason they did.
Nope, that is not their. They say guilty or innocent, and the judge has to take that guilty or innocent, and then sentence as he sees fit. But the sentencing phase, that's where more information comes in. The state can give more information, like, hey, this was never given to the jury to decide because we, for one reason or the other, they believe that it would either make the jury biased one way or another, or it was just not relevant to the facts for this particular case. That can come in, and then also the defense pours out tons of information, especially if it's someone's first offense and shows what a good person this is, and maybe they shouldn't go to prison for 15 years.
Wow. Yeah. I thought I remember here in a murder trial where somebody's getting the death sentence. Does the jury not decide that?
Well,
Or is that a different case?
That's a whole different.
Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah, you're
Have you ever had to
whole-
deal with one of them?
No,
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
not.
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
want
death,
to do that.
I am not death certified, and don't want to be death certified.
Oh gosh, I wish I was not death certified. Imagine that you can't die. You're not death
No,
certified.
that's not how that one works.
Oh, that's not how it works.
That's not how that works.
So what are you doing tomorrow?
What is tomorrow?
Oh, I already asked you this, didn't I?
sorry.
You're staying home.
That's
That's right. This was our small talk in the
This
beginning.
is small talk. There's a couple of things I might be doing during the day, like hanging out with friends and doing some things. But yeah, I don't like going out on New Year's Eve, 4th of July, or Halloween. Those are the days I tend to stay inside.
Really?
Yeah, there's more DUIs.
Oh, I know. I hate driving. I really. I mean, the more you look around, there was a post on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can tell you who posted it. It's public, right? It was Rondo from from.
Mojos.
Thank you. Just drew a blank there. But he said he and his family were almost in a head-on on the highway, like the interstate or the turnpike. Somebody coming the wrong way
Do you know how many times I've seen that?
and
this
missed them by
week
inches. I've seen it a lot too.
in Ocala. Like in Ocala.
You've actually seen it, or you've read about it?
No, I have seen 3 different people going the wrong way on 40 this week in Ocala.
How is that possible?
One of see this.
I saw somebody right here on 27 going the wrong way.
Yeah, they're well because it's a divided highway.
27th. I
Oh,
mean.
not on 27th, but on 40.
Right.
And they have all those barricades up.
Oh, so they
like,
turn left.
So they're treating the two-way that they see, even though it's a white center
Gotcha,
dots
gotcha.
instead of yellow, because I guess people don't realize the difference in the colored lines. But they were turning the wrong
But
way.
how does it happen on the interstate? You have to go on the ramp.
Right, which has big signs that say "Do not enter."
Yeah. I don't know.
So-
It's scary though.
It is scary.
And somebody who's under the influence of something, like you're describing an innocent mistake, and hopefully they rectify it.
Right.
I mean, I've gone the wrong way downtown a couple of times years ago when I was not familiar.
I've seen that a lot of times too.
Yeah.
One-way streets confuse people.
Yeah. But I mean, on an interstate. So in Rondo's case, if it was somebody drunk or something like that, oh my gosh! I mean, how could you even defend that person if they just take out a whole family just because they're stupid? You know.
That's your job.
Thank God he was
sometimes.
okay. Thank God he survived that and didn't get hurt, and his family. Well, you have
Very
a
true story.
happy New Year. Let me.
Happy New Year.
I think this needs to be cranked up, and we'll see you next year in 2017.
I will see you next year. It might only be 1 week, but I will see you next year.
That's right. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, we'll be right back.